Hi, my name is Shashan, and I'm your IES student. So let's start the sun. So this is my tic-tac-toe game. Um, if I start, sorry for the noises in the back. I'm the library. So these are all the variables, and this is the variable x goes for. Sorry, that's the bool. Sorry, that's a bool. That's a bool. So these three bool, this one bool, and these two bool. These are total bools I have. So this one, I don't think so. I like play to. Let me just comment it because I'm not sure if I used it. Yeah, that's it. Now I use play to. So this is the score of x integer zero. Score of o integer is equal to zero. So setting the pre values to zero. I'm not active player is equal one. This is my main uh, the person who is playing. This is the value. This is the initial value. Like this is the initial value I put it on. This is score one is equal to score two is equal to zero. So these two are used for the history and everything, and this score is used for my labels. Exact. Like it's not like I've used both of them, but somewhere I've used these, and somewhere there. So this is the AI variable, pre-set value as well. This is AI already know the computer part. This is the person value for the multiplayer value, and this is the player value as bool as for. So this is the multiplayer. Player versus player is equal to one. So this is my only one 0 to and all this grade, and this is the main grade. This is the 0 1 2 3 4 5. This setting all the combination winning combination. This is actually the winning combination, and this is the main grid. This is one more bool, true and working true. I'll show you its use of later on. So from here and this one and this one. So and this one as well. Not this one, I think so. So this one. So these three are used for my record, writing the history and all that. So this one is all for the music. I showed in our practical three. I think yeah, practical four. And this value is also used for in history. I'll show you later on how it works. And this is this is the reset button. Actually, this is that outlet connection for all my button. So and this is the function reset. I use it in the starting. It was more convenient for me. So let's start the main functioning app. So these are all the labels, symbols, and buttons. That's it. So this is my main function buttons. So this is also linked to all the buttons. So when the multiplayer switch is on, is it? This is the multiplayer switch. No, actually, sorry. This is the multiplayer switch, and this is the XO switch. So I named it like I changed the name later on, so that why it was a little confusion. So when the switch is on, it means when it's on the dual mode, and when it's the multiplayer mode. So from here till if you go down, this this is just the multiplayer. So calling that grade, and then this initial is zero. If it's zero and working is equal true, that's one of the label, and this is the initial value. This is the predefined value. So this is also a predefined rule. Sorry for that. So this is the player versus player. If the player versus player is equal to one, this is also predefined. So XO is on. So this is a if under if and under if. So it's like too much complex of loops. So when the XO switches on, this and this is my X switch. When it's on, that says that when the value of the person that's playing on the first part, like the player 1, when he selected the value as 0, 0 or 0, so it sets the first images to 0. Okay, and this goes to false, this goes to true. These are the two bools. Now you see, this is the main function of the both. So when I use I use O as my first symbol, or you say the first option, as a player 1 chooses O as is the preference. So I change the O goes value to true and X goes to 4. And if the switch is off, this else button is for the switch. So when the switch is off, like the player has chose the default X value, so the image that comes first is X. So X goes to true and O goes to false. This is just the vice versa, that's it. And then changing this, player versus 2, setting the value to 2, and score 1 is equal to player versus player. This is just setting the score. And when the value is 2, it will not enter this loop again. It will straight away go to the next loop. So when the X is on, and it's a solo play, if you see it here, because this else is for this F. See? So this is this else. So when it's on, actually X is on, and it goes to that image, and let me just wait just a second. If I just set it like this, let's see if it still works, because according to me, I think so I by mistake done it 2 times. So yeah, if you go like this, does the same thing. Player 1 goes to 1. Oh, sorry, yeah, it should be there. Sorry. Actually, this method is quite different from the lecture method. So I have a reference. I got a reference from 2-3 websites, one from video from somewhere else and one from somewhere else. So it was like a combination, like it's referencing from 2-3 videos. So, and like I have a friend senior to me, and he also taught me some tricks. So it's some from the lecture, some from the other referencing, and I had some knowledge before all the Xcoding as well, like before the Swift and all that. So just cutting off the slack. This one, setting the value again to play versus play as 1. This one to play. So there were 2 bools, as you remember. You might not get the meaning of this right now, but I'll just explain it in there. So if nothing happens, like if neither the player 1 wins and player 2 wins, what I actually did, first of all, I was doing this by just calling, like just naming a variable I, and just there was like a 2-3 line function for I, and it was just showing the draw message. Because before using the alert option, I was using just the label, like I highlighted this label and unhighlighted whenever anyone won or whenever it was a draw. And you reset you reset it using this, and that was just a simple functionable tic-tac-toe. But when it goes to the another level, that's the solo level as well. So I think it will be more convenient for naming one function as draw, and doing that by whole another method, and just calling it whenever it's a draw. So it will be more convenient, save space in your code, and it's more likely to do. So this is just a second, sorry, I'll just call it more. And this one, I'll explain it. So this else is for the starting. You see, now it's coming to the single player. So if this one, going to the conditions again, if active player is 1, sorry, naming that active player 1 again, so that it can enter the other function again. And If only center tag is 0, only one center tag is active player. The same thing. Active player if flipper 1, and here I'm naming it 1, and that's only when it will enter this condition if it's a solo player. So it's just reconfirming the things so that there will not be any error at any case. So now it's when the switch is on, this will happen, and the switch is off, this will happen. And then player is equal to true, person is equal to active player. These are all the labels. Then if active player is 2, now the active player 2 is the second player. That will be our AI or the CPU or the computer. So this is for the first player, and this is the second player, the computer one. So if you see closely, it's just calling a function named work AI, and after that he's just setting the default value at 1, so that the player 1 could just take its turn. And same thing is happening in multiplayer. The concept is same. The main concept that's happening here is work I. I'll explain you the work I right now actually, because it's just after this. So after this, if it's the draw, it's calling the draw function again, and level I'll explain later. So it's just like as multiplayer, but this is the main, you know, different level of coding. Actually, it's like the different level that was as different as compared to the multiplayer. So this is the function that's actually happening in just two lines. So I'm naming a void as integer, then there's array number from 0 to only like just one less than only ones. Should not increase the only ones count, like not more than 9. Yeah. So if only ones dot array number is equal to, if you name it, if it's equal to 0, and y dot append is array number as named here, then this will all go. Like if this happens, it goes to this, and under if condition this happens. Now if let index, as I'm naming it inside the let, so I don't need to name a variable before that. So this is something entirely different from the concept taught in lecture. This thing is a little complicated, but works exactly as same as one showed in lecture, and saves like a maybe 3 or 4 coding of lines. So I just this is like from here is just cramming. So if you are able to remember all this, this one is also equally efficient the method of lecturer. So when this one is done, so this is the index, this is the void as an integer. Now this all my AI code. It's quite different from the normal code, but it's equally functioning, and it doesn't show any error anytime you do it. So this is my index path. I just named it here. So ns index path. This is the automatic code inside, like the embedded code. Row void index section 0, just 0 0. That's it. As index path test. Again naming a variable test with initial integer value 0. Index path dot item is equal to avoid index. Test is equal to index path dot item, and then printing it. Print index path dot item. So when the access switch is on, so then how it works? Then reset. That's all my buttons. Test the initial value that I name as 0. Set the image to X for normal. Else, if the switch is off, that says that the computer is having X. Like if the player one chooses O, it automatically gives the computer or the AI the default value of X. If the player one chooses X, then it gives the default value for AI as O or 0, and it works accordingly. A little confusing in this concept for the beginners or someone, but this one is equally efficient and actually better to understand if you get into the main thing, but I'll not just go it right now because I don't have that much time. So if avoid is equal to this function is also used by the lecturer as well. So if nothing is happening, like avoid, you see, if it's not equal to this, then the whole function happens, and I'm closing this here. If it's not equal to this one, if it's not blank, if it is, then it's matched off. So it's just a thing that I'm doing. It's actually more convenient to me, because if we set it in an if loop, it's more convenient, like I'm doing the one-on-one thing. If nobody wins, the draw will automatically be called here, and we'll just call the draw function, and everything will happen in that function. It's just calling that function here, and then the level function again. Okay, now coming to the level. This is the level function. This is the main function for every step, maybe multiplayer or single player. Without this, there will be no winning and losing for player 1 and player 2. So taking all the combinations here, and then naming a variable bool as false. So for the first condition, if this happens, combination 0 is equal to 0, combination 1, then my label text will go to player 1 as is default right now. It will not come as it is when you play the game, it's hidden. So it calls the alert. Actually, it doesn't call the alert because I didn't name any alert function separately. I should have done it, but there was no time to do it right now, because I already I already did the same with all the before thing. So I didn't name any alert function separately and calling the alert function, because there were already two functions, and I thought it would be more confusing for me. But it's a person to person, and many believe that naming the alert function and calling it will be more convenient, and maybe it will be. But I just named it like that, and it's working perfectly fine. So let alert control play 1 is equal to wins. See, I'm just naming the alert function, showing the message, and then it's just the alert function. This is all from here. This is all the alert function. So it's when the player 1 wins, there will be an alert. Without this alert, the game is for nothing, because in this alert, it's an automatic reset. The thing I chose alert as preferable to label, it was like more interactive. It was not compulsory to use in the assignment, but I chose it that it was more interactive, because when you click in OK, you set the values again. But when the player 1 wins as the label comes, you have to go to the reset to set the values again. So it was more convenient for the user. And then setting the score, setting my label. So there will be two things to alert the player that he lost or he won. It's one through the label and one through the alert. Just increasing the number of. So this is history. If I just make it more convenient and name it records, so that you can just, sorry, just a second, to make it more easy for you, you can just link it from here. This is my variable this is the integer variable that I set it in the starting, if you remember. Increasing the value to 1, and then writing inside the text box. This writing inside the text box is just going to the another space, that's it. One word, then another word, then another word. So that's automatic writing. That's why I use the variable, more convenient for me. Actually, it can't work without the variable. So it's recording the data, and this one is the text box, and then same, only one script. So this recording is happening in both winning and losing thing. I didn't do that in the starting. I did that in the same function call level. Then if player 2 wins, same thing happening, only message is changing, same alert function, the score changing again, message changing again. This is a score of 4, there was a score of X. It was X, right? Yeah, score of X. Because last time by mistake I did 4 for both. So it was not working that well. It was showing a confusion for the player. So how to see, like, as I'm telling you, I'm just reviewing all the project actually, because it got deleted 2 times. So player, then texting the label of the, and then history again, recording the record for the play. Actually, I didn't get much space here, but it's still recording all the records. So as you got my mail and about everything, I in the previous project I set in another view controller, and when you clicked on this button, it will link to that and will show you the entire history. But I didn't have any time to do that right now, so I just put it everything in one tab, one view controller. This thing is just unhiding and hiding my label. So every time anyone wins, my label will appear, and if you reset the game, my label will disappear. Now this is the draw function. Match draw. Label, who, this is the function for draw. This one. And this is again the alert. So this is what I was saying. I was naming the alert in every function, and I just made the one more function alert. This was a bit confusing for everyone, but it's the way I did before as well. And I didn't want to change it again. That's why I just kept it like that because it's working as well. Then firing the history again. I don't know if you can create a function for this as well. I thought it would be better for me to create a function for this, but like I could have done more in this assignment, but I didn't have that much time because it got deleted 2 times. And this one I made only in 1.5 days, as I gave the email about that. So the all my music thing. So this is my music button. This up here, this one. So there is not a play pause, but like there, I should have. Probably I'll do it after this video. That when you click it, the button images also change. Because I had the pause image, I'll change the image for M button here. For when it's on and when you click it, I'll change the image probably here. I'll just give a space right now. So when I'll submit it, I'll change the space. And when it stops, I change the image again. I think it changes accordingly. Oh yeah, I did it. The pause.png changes the image again. The play.png changes the image again. And that's the button image. M button. I think it's M button or should be yeah. So, yeah, that's it. I did it. So that's my music, has shown practical 4. And that's it. This is my assignment. And if it's possible to show you how my game works, I'll just show you one time. Because I'm not sure if it's coming in the screen recording. Yeah, I think it's coming. See, that's solo, automatically set it. That's it. Wins legendary. And when you click on done, it resets everything automatically. And it's just keeping the count of everything. This thing will change when you reset the button. So if you don't want to go for records, because I don't have that much space, so that's why I'm not changing the labels until you reset it. And this will do everything. It's a drop. And do play again, everything goes over. And that's it. Thank you.